if you are somebody who's in your late 30s, early 40s, early 50s, who has either undergone a big career shift later in life after your 20s, stay tuned. So this is not even my first career shift. I actually had shifted my career in my late 20s from being a fashion buyer, living and working in New York City, to becoming a makeup artist on video, photo productions, also in New York City. I did that in my late 20s. I changed my career again in my early 30s. I became a coach, a life coach first, then a business coach. Then I shifted my career again and I started working like full-time for a marketing agency running their Done With You program. And I'm still doing that today, and I absolutely love that job. But I recently have gotten the itch to start a new venture, to start a new business, and that business will be brand strategy. So if you don't know what brand strategy is, because truth be told, I had really no real definition around brand strategy is, like, I had an idea about what brand strategists did, but I ended up going into a training program for people who are either brand strategists now or want to be brand strategists. And I realized that I had been doing this thing, brand strategy, for my coaching clients when I was a coach and had my own business. And even in the company that I'm working with right now, I had been doing this thing in an informal way, in a more like micro sort of way, but going through this training program and learning about what effects building a brand strategy for people can have on their business has been mind-blowing. I'm like literally blown away by the possibility of what somebody's business or how somebody's business could change if they implemented or had a brand strategist come in and build out a full strategy for them. So as I'm discovering things about brand strategy, I'm discovering that my current skill sets as a coach, as somebody who's has been working in marketing, has been working with social media, has been working with brands, and I've been working with brands since 2009, right? Like, I started working with brands when I was working in advertising and commercials as a makeup artist. So my understanding of what brands were up until this point was mostly concentrated or focused on this aesthetic appearance of brands, meaning like how they presented themselves aesthetically in their advertising, right? So as I learn about brand strategy and as I learn about what gives businesses this edge from having a brand strategy, a solid brand strategy to base all of their decisions and their marketing and their product design and all of that off of, I'm seeing that the part of branding and advertising that I had worked in was just this really outer shell, this facade piece of the puzzle. And there was, for a lot of these big brands, right, brand strategists building out this foundation, this backbone, this core of the business to give the business this identity, this core identity to lean on as they moved forward through years of this business, like growing and changing and expanding. For instance, like some of the brands that I had worked with as a makeup artist are Maybelline, L'Oreal, Gap, Amazon, Smashbox, what else? La Mer Skincare, Briogeo Hair, Pantene, Hanes, like a ton of fashion and beauty companies where they already had the strategy in place. So what I was doing as a makeup artist, right, because I could never come in and be like, hey, I think that I'm going to give your model, say I was talking to La Mer and I was doing like a skincare ad campaign, whatever. I could never come in and be like, I think that we should start out with a really dark smoky eye and like big, like voluminous hair. It's not on brand, right? Like you never see women or the models for that brand portrayed in a really glam way. It's all about the skin, that company. And it's all about this elevated aesthetic. So when I say elevated, like aspirational, it is a very expensive product. So everything we did on that end, like when all of the creative briefs were already done and the marketing strategies had already been built, and we were on the shoot day, right, as a makeup artist at the end of the line of strategizing and coming up with the ideas for these campaigns, like I was following whatever their creative briefs were, and I was keeping on brand with what they wanted, right? And I now understand actually creative direction on a deeper level, and I understand what it even means to be on brand in a deeper way, because being on brand doesn't just mean that you're showing up aesthetically in the way that has been decided by the brand identity designer or anybody else, right? It means that the age of the model, the movements that the model is doing, if it's in video or even in photo, like the poses, right? They're coming from this understanding of the relationship between the brand persona and the client or customer persona. And so this communication that we were doing through building a visual like advertisement, either video or through photo, had to be communicating that message in a cohesive way. And that's what would make what we were creating either on brand or not on brand. And so in this part of my career where I'm not the makeup artist, I'm not the end user of a creative brief, right? I want to be part of that team that gets to the very core of a brand and I want to be a part of that team that helps to build this very sturdy foundation for which to build everything off of, to help that brand hit its 10-year goal, to build a very deep and connected mission, vision, and purpose, so that the brand is communicating who it is from its core through this very stable and honest, I'm going to use the word authentic, but in a very authentic way, right? Because to me, what's important is that what I'm doing in my career and in any business that I either work in or build myself, the most important thing is that I am communicating truth and honesty. And I have had my fair share of putting on facades to sell a product, a service, whatever, right? I have had my fair share of being involved with a part where we are building an aesthetic that is appealing to a customer or a client to make them want to spend their money with that particular business. And I am just going to say I'm beyond it now. And I don't mean that I'm better than it. What I mean is that I'm no longer interested in just making a pretty picture. I'm interested in helping the core, honest, truthful, true identity of brands, especially purpose-driven brands, especially brands that have a mission to help humanity and the environment and the relationship from person to person flourish, grow, and thrive. Like, I have a deep felt sense that this is what my purpose is, right? I do enjoy that part of brands that are aesthetic, that communicate through beauty, that communicate through imagery and the visual aspect. But even more so, if I can help brands where the founders are people who care deeply about the cause that they are contributing to. If I can help marketing managers and like visual marketers, digital marketers who are working with brands that have this real deep mission, vision, purpose, this real like desire to help community, society, people, humanity, the environment, then I can't imagine that there would be anything more fulfilling to me right now at this point in my life than that. So to wrap this all up, the reason I have made so many career jumps might be because of my ADHD, who knows? I am a multi-passionate, like very interested in learning new thing type of person. But regardless of the reason that I've changed my careers over the years, I am always on a trajectory, whether I am leaving a career or entering into a new one, of getting more and more self-aware, real with what I actually truly want, and going after what it is that I feel the most deep connection with at the time that I'm making the choice to transition into something new. So if you are in, like I said, your late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, wherever you are in this timeline of career and business trajectory, how are you feeling? Are you someone who is making a transition at this point in your life? Are you terrified to actually do it? Let me know in the comment. Are you somebody who's had the same job your entire life and you love it, or you want to make a switch? Let's chat about it, because I am fascinated about this topic, and I am one of my only friends or people in my life. Like, I have a core group of friends, right? And the majority of them have been in the same careers, or at least industries, for the majority of their careers. So I want to know if this is you, or if you're more like me and you've shifted your career several times. Let me know in the comments and let's get into it. So if this type of content is interesting to you and you want to hear more about what I'm doing in this new career, this new business, or just talking about transitions in life later in life, then please let me know. I'm happy to make more content on it. And please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll look forward to speaking with you soon.